So David Justice decided that he was going to go on a podcast called All the Smoke and air out his grievances about the way that he was perceived or about the way that his marriage with Halle Berry ended. And the podcast apparently aired a week before her birthday. Now, this man has apparently been quite salty over the years over the fact that the public perceived him as the one that Halle Berry spoke of when she mentioned that she had suffered domestic violence to the extent that it caused her, I think, temporary hearing loss during one incident. I don't think she ever named who the abuser was, what relationship she was in at the time, but a lot of people in the public assumed that it was him. And, it seems that he might still be harboring some resentment about that. So he decided that that would be as good a time as any to state that the reason why their marriage ended in his eyes was largely because she was not motherly. She wasn't the cooking and cleaning type. You knew that you were marrying one of the most significant female icons of our time, and you expected her to cast that aside to be the cooking and cleaning type. But a man like David Justice is well aware of that fact. That's not what this is about. What's baffling to me is that even though there are those who are evolving, there's still so many dinosaurs out there who aren't, who believe that to call a woman unmotherly or to use an insult against her, like, the term bitch, slut, whore, cunt, or whatever, they think that these things are insults. And for the enlightened, evolved woman, it's actually a compliment. Actually, the words cunt and kundalini have the same root. And if you don't know what kundalini is by now, then you are even further behind than I thought you were. Now, as a woman who thoroughly enjoys a lot of those domestic tasks, someone who considers myself to have a quite strong Martha Stewart streak, I enjoy the cooking and the gardening and the decorating and all of the household things. I also understand that when a nigga is going upside your head, or if he's just a general asshole, that can create quite a bit of an aversion to all of the domestic tasks that a woman might otherwise do to cater to him. Thankfully, there are quite a few men out there who have awakened to the fact that, and are in the process of waking up to the fact that a woman can be so much more in her own life and in his life and for the world than just a domestic servant. Though the average small-minded man may never experience more than the tip of the iceberg of the fullness of power that a woman has to offer, these evolved men will experience so much more. These words are not insults anymore for evolved men and women. They are a statement of power because we understand that these words were thrust upon us to take away our powers and to recognize that a woman does not fit the mold of what is considered to be the picture of femininity, performative femininity, by the way. The picture of motherhood, the picture of domesticity is not to insult her in this day and age. It's to say that she's free from those shackles, even if she chooses to pick up those tasks at some point in her life. If you recognize that she is living her life in such a way that she's following her heart, she's living in a more expanded fashion, she is walking in her God-given gifts and doing what comes naturally to her, not what is thrust upon her, for you to call that out is a compliment. Now, I'm not trying to say that there's anything wrong with being a mom. If you've been watching my videos for any amount of time, you know that I am a mother. I thoroughly enjoyed being pregnant, being a stay-at-home mom, being a homeschool mom, doing all of these things to cultivate life in this world. What I'm saying is that these things should be a choice that a woman has the opportunity to embrace, not a prison that she's shoved into by the society at large. And that's not to say that he is wrong for wanting the kind of woman who's going to do those kinds of things. But the timing of it and, the resentment that he's probably harboring around this whole issue lead me to believe that, maybe he was making one last jab. Maybe he was making one last dig right before her birthday when he knew it would go public on this podcast called All the Smoke. It's called a role, by the way, because it's an act. It's a means to an end. It's not supposed to be the fullness of who you are. Anyway, even though the interview certainly garnered the desired attention, it doesn't appear that it had the impact on Halle Berry that may have been intended. She simply responded by trolling David Justice with a photo of her 59-year young self, looking better than a bottle of Dom Perignon, laid up in a bed in the tropics somewhere with her man. Oh, she was cooking all right, but it wasn't in nobody's damn kitchen. This is Inanna Joy, sharing a few of the things that I've learned and some things that I'm still learning with you. Thanks for jumping in the joy well with me, where we examine what it means to grow and to live and love through life's joy, pain, sunshine, or rain. In the joy well, you will follow your bliss to your purpose. You will align with your joy and live well. See you soon.